Okay, beautiful. So welcome, and you are so welcome to join our accelerators. And if you are new to our group, just a little background about the accelerators. At the very beginning of COVID, we quickly realized that people were going to need a community, that we were, a lot of us, in our homes and not being able to network the way we used to. And so we began this accelerator community to help job seekers with improving skills and getting the confidence to go out there and change their lives and get their new positions. Since the beginning, I've been the designated career coach on the Accelerator call, thus the name that I got, which was a Career Accelerator, because that's what I love to do. That's my joy. I love to accelerate careers for everyone that I speak to. And that's what I do on a daily basis. If you're not yet a member of the LinkedIn Accelerator group, it's a private group. Lori is going to drop the link in to join the group. She did already, thank you. And for you, I really encourage you to drop your own name, your URL, and the kind of job you're looking for into the chat as well. Take a moment to do that now so that everyone knows what you're looking for, because you never know who's going to be on this call, who's going to see it, who might have that perfect opportunity for you. So drop your information into the chat. And at the end of our chat, I suggest that you do save the chat, because there are going to be a lot of great links in there that you might not be able to click on now or don't feel comfortable clicking on now, but you can go back at the end of the call and click on those. Lori, if you could drop my URL in there. If you're not connected to me yet, you're welcome to. I encourage you all to connect. There's lots of great information that I provide, so might as well take advantage of it. So just so you know, the very fact that you're here with us today is a giant step in improving your skill set and getting you one step closer to your next role. So I'd like you to take a minute and just give yourselves a round of applause for doing one more thing than your competition is doing. Come on, everyone can do it. Clap for yourselves, because you have made that effort to join us today. And if you take away one nugget from what we're talking about today, then that's great. That's one more thing that you're doing that your competition is not doing. So amazing. And thank you all for being here. The accelerator calls are once a month. I host every month an accelerator call. Next month, we are honoring all introverts. So if you feel like you might have some introvert tendencies, just raise your hand. Okay, so Kenneth Lang, I don't know if you know Kenneth Lang or not, but he is a top LinkedIn voice. He's considered one of the top 100 LinkedIn voices, and he is an introvert. And he is going to talk to us about his story, about how he went from introvert to LinkedIn rock star. And he's going to give us lots of tips and tricks about LinkedIn. That's next month. It's on February 2nd. And Lori, if you can drop his link, that promo is up already and you can register for that. And I suggest getting in early so that we don't hit that 100 deadline and just register for that. That's on February 1st, the very first day of February. It's only in a couple of weeks. Beautiful. Okay, so today we're going to be talking a lot about interviewing. And so in honor of the interviewing mode and motif that we've been focused on for both January and we're going to move into February, I am offering a interview boot camp for every Tuesday in February. For those of you who want to practice the skills that you need to interview well. It's going to be a small group. I'm going to keep it to under 10. I'm hoping to be somewhere around 5 or 6. But I did open that promo up as well on LinkedIn. So if you can put the link for that in there, Lori, then I will know if you're interested in joining us. It's every Tuesday in February. And we're going to, it's the interview boot camp. I did do one. I know Eleanor was on and Rob was on. I forgot who else was on the call when we did our first.
Young woman named Dina.
Dina. I don't know if Dina's on today, but
and there was a gentleman also.
Oh, and Nick was on. That's right.
I was on it too.
Right, exactly. So we had a great time. I think we got a lot done in an hour, and we're going to replicate that in February if you guys are interested. Okay. All right. So I am so excited to introduce Geoff Woliner. He is the founder and CEO of Winning Wit. So he's got this unique combination of skills. He is a former recruiter, and he is a stand-up comedian. And if you follow him on LinkedIn, you will get at least a daily laugh because he has a very unusual perspective of the world, and it gets me excited every time I see one of his posts coming in. He's the author of 5 books, ranging from interview self-help to metaphysical fiction, and you're gonna have to tell us what that might be, Geoff, because I don't know what that is really. And he's worked with everyone from NFL superstars to Army generals to help them win the crowd during their own big moments. And make no mistake about it, your next interview is your big moment, all right? It's your great opportunity to make an impression on the people that you speak to. If you have any questions during the presentation, just put the word question in there, and we're going to, in the chat, and we'll try and get to as many questions as possible. If Geoff says anything interesting, definitely put it in as a nugget, because I take those nuggets and I will create a post at some point later this week, because there are a lot of people who may not be able to get on this call, but we want to share the wealth with them. Okay, I believe very strongly in paying it forward. So we will take the nuggets, I will take the nuggets and create a post so that we can share information that Geoff might put out there. Don't forget to save the chat again, because you have lots of great links in the chat. And I think that's it. I think I covered everything. All right, so without further ado, here comes Geoff. Can I say that you came from a bout of COVID? I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, so maybe we need some more further ado. Maybe let's push it back a week or two. Finally kick this once and for all. But yes, as Mindy said, I am actually recovering from a bout of the great plague of the 2020s, restless leg syndrome. I'm working past that right now, and I got to tell you guys, for those of you who had it, those of you who haven't, you know how this whole thing works. But what I actually found the most interesting was when the strip tested positive. I took one look at it. I said, wait a second now. This is 2023. You don't get the job that easily. First thing you got to do, COVID, you got to go through 8 different departments within my body. They got to cross-reference each other. The kidney's got to talk to the spleen to say, is this a cultural fit? Is it a cultural fit? And the HR from my brain's going to come down and say, well, of course it's a cultural fit. It's a new variant. You know what that means? It's young. It's what we're looking for. We can make it into the kind of virus that can fit in here. And then, so it's a whole thing. But I really do want to thank you, Mindy, from the bottom of my heart. This is an awesome, awesome community. This is a great thing that Mindy's been doing. And I had a chance to follow it for the last few months. And it's just exciting to see everyone coming together to move forward in their lives. So on that note, what we're going to do today is what Mindy said, is to give you those nuggets you need when you step into that interview to win the big moment. That's really what it is. It's a big moment. It's all it is, an interview. It's an opportunity. It's when energy comes together. It's this inflection point. And this is where the weird metaphysical fiction part comes in. So just kind of bear with me. But this is where these things come together to create turning points in your lives. And this interview, make no mistake, is going to be a turning point in your life, for better or worse. So the opportunity for you to step up, seize the moment, and win is right in front of you. So instead of shying away, let's get excited about it. Let's lean in. Here's a couple ways to do it. So first of all, I would love for you all to put in the chat, love to see where your heads are at today. When you hear the word hero, what kind of person comes to mind for you? And I'm going to pull the most LinkedIn thing ever and say, louder for the folks in the back. By the way, there's nobody in the back. Why do they say that? It's LinkedIn. There's nobody in the back. We're on a Zoom. There's nobody in the back here either, but I'll say it again. Louder for the folks in the back. When you think of the word hero, what comes to mind? All right, we have all kinds of great answers here. We have friends, strength, veterans. Ooh, we have a great answer here. Courageous. Lita, I love. Can I say it again? I love your answer. Love it. Everyone is a hero to someone. You know, I ask that question all the time and I almost never actually get that answer. I get the standard ones you think. You know, firefighter, veteran, and they're all heroes. Make no mistake. How many of you woke up today, looked in the mirror and said, I'm a hero? Be honest. We're all friends here. How many of you said this morning to yourself, I'm a hero? And I'm not including all you narcissists. You say it every day. You say it every 5 minutes, not you. The rest of you. Paul gave himself a high five. Paul, I'm giving you a high five right back, brother. Love it. Nah, Lisa didn't say it. Lisa, I feel you. You're in Metro Detroit. Nobody feels like a hero in January in Michigan. Nobody. Lived there for 5 years. You're not going to see the sun for 6 months. There's no heroism there. There's none. Unless you're a Lions fan, Darren, you know the deal. They are definitely heroes. So why are we talking about heroism? What does heroism have to do with winning an interview? It's got everything to do with it. And that's one of the first nuggets right there. Everyone is a hero to someone. The key to winning your interview is for you to not only be the hero for that interviewer, but to demonstrate to that interviewer how you were once a hero yourself. RDSR, I feel like a hero when I can help someone. That's it. So let's dig in. Let's dive in. My friends, let's do this. When you're thinking about how to actually get across the finish line in an interview, let's take a step back for a moment and realize you are up against, as you already know, a lot of other people who got to the same spot in the race as you. Now, why did they get there? Why are they all right there with you right before each one of you crosses that line? Because with all the basic stuff, you're right there with them. You have a very similar resume. You probably have very similar skills, very similar background. You might have similar connections if that's how you got it. So you're all in this race, kind of like Belmont, and maybe they're a nose ahead, and then you pull a nose ahead, and they pull a nose ahead, and kind of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now you're at the interview stage. And the interview stage is an interesting one because this is where you have to have that accelerant. This is where you have to find that gear to push ahead of them, to get that one step ahead, to get across that finish line. The difference between you and them, my friends, is how well you tell that hero story. It's as simple as that. And it's not a hero story from your personal life. You've all got one. You may not think it because nobody said today, hey, I'm a hero. But how many times have you held a door open for someone who's carrying 8 grocery bags and has 2 toddlers that are just holding on to their legs tight and trying to drag them down and screaming and making a scene? And that person is having the worst day of their life. But you're right there and you just hold that elevator open for them that 1 extra second. You were a hero for that person that day. How many times does your significant other come home after a miserable day at work? I know that doesn't happen. We all have the best jobs in the world and the best bosses. And yeah. So how many times does that happen? Significant other comes home, miserable day at work. You show up with a shoulder rub and a glass of wine. Or for your non-drinkers, shoulder rub and a glass of tofu. That's what you do, right? Okay. But each one of you at some point in your lives has been a hero to somebody. And what your interviewer is looking for is that hero. They're not looking for somebody with your skills. They already have those. They have 5 people who have your skills. They're not looking for somebody who worked at the company you worked at. They have 5 people who worked in a similar kind of company. They're now looking for somebody who's going to tell them all their grand plans for the company. They've got 25 people DMing them on LinkedIn with those ideas. They're looking for that hero. So how do we find that hero? How do we do a little bit of digging? Number one of these nuggets. Can I call out the nuggets?
Sure.
I'm gonna call it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't know the rules, so I'm just winging it with you. But we're gonna do a step-by-step process on how to uncover that hero within you, and then how to sell that hero story in the interview to get you over the finish line. So the first way to find that nugget, that little piece of, okay, how am I a hero? We're gonna go old school here. We're gonna phone a friend. Anybody phone anybody anymore? You could text a friend, send out a bat signal, whatever you're most comfortable with, that's fine. But you want to reach out to an old coworker. I want you to go through your resumes, go back through all your jobs, particularly the jobs that are the most relevant to the one that you're interviewing with right now. And as you're going through your resume, I want you to go through all your bullet points that I'm sure really brilliant people have helped you out with. And by brilliant people, I mean Mindy. And if it's not Mindy, it should be Mindy, ought to be Mindy. She's not going to sell her services here. I'll sell it for her. It ought to be Mindy. So Mindy helped you take what you did and turn it into an accomplishment. That's half the battle. But I want you to look at that accomplishment now within your resume and think, what is the story behind that accomplishment? Not simply something I did, but what's the story? So when you're asked about that from your interviewer, how do you dive back in and tell that story? A lot of times we don't even remember, do we? We'll take one look at it and say, yeah, I did that. But can you tell a great story around it? So here's how you do that. Phone a friend. Get in touch with an old colleague, somebody you worked with at that job. Could be an old boss, could be somebody who reported to you, could be a friend who used to commiserate about the company. By commiserate, I'm going to use that as a very diplomatic word. We know what commiserate actually means. Usually happens after the all staff meetings. I want you to find that friend, reach out to them. You may still be in touch with them. You may not. But if this is somebody you were friendly with and you went through the wars together with this person, you know, that great company trauma bonds, reach out to them and start talking about that experience. Say, hey, remember the time that I did this, we did this together. Can you tell me your memories of that? What did that sound like to you? Because sometimes there are things that we do in life we have no recollection of years later, but somebody we experienced it with remembers every single detail. So this is an opportunity for you to dig back into your own hero story. And don't be bashful when you talk to them. Say, what did I do? Now, don't say, what did I do that was heroic? They'll say nothing because you're an idiot. But say, what did I do that was helpful to you? What did I do that was helpful to the project? What did I do that was helpful to the company? If you can think and help me, that would be amazing. And people have awesome memories of this stuff. So think back to a time in your resume that you can reach out to somebody for help. Now, if you can put this story together, here's what I'd like you to do next. Nugget number 2. Okay. Recreate the story. Recreate the story. And not just talk through the story, but I want you to put yourself in that hero shoes again now. I want you to think about the story in a cinematic
Oh, were
kind
you
of way.
trying to be on a call? Sorry about that.
No.
Okay. Now, this is what I'm talking about. When you have something like this, think about how would a hero respond to this? Personally, I'm going to get up and walk away. That's it. The key to what you have to do is think, what was a piece of adversity that hit you in an old job? How did you respond to it? And how did you come out on the other side? So let's go back into your story now. We'll begin with the beginning. In the beginning, there was biblical scholars. Anybody?
Man.
Yeah, sure. The light, the birds, the this, the that. That didn't happen in your company. What are we talking about Genesis for? Now, in the beginning, there was the challenge that you had at your job, in this company, in your role for this project. That's why you were hired, to solve that challenge. You were hired to provide exemplary customer care when there was none. You were hired to straighten out an accounting department that was in shambles. You were hired for that job to rebuild a website that looked like it was one of those old Angel Fire websites from '97. Remember those? Those were a treat. That's why you were at that job, to solve a problem, to fix something, to be that hero. So as you go back through your resume now, what I'd love you to do is to think about, number 1, what was the problem you were hired to solve? We get so caught up in what we did, we often forget why we were hired to do it in the first place. So when you phone a friend, when you go back and talk to your old colleague, Think about what was the problem you were hired to solve. Next, how did you actually solve it? Now we're telling a story. We have the beginning. In the beginning of all stories, there was the challenge. The middle part of the story is the fighting back. What did I do to push back on this challenge? What did I do to turn the challenge around? This is where the heroism comes in. I organized a department to do this by doing this. We were up against it. We didn't have a budget. We had some team members who were, to be diplomatic about it, maybe a little bit difficult. We had all these challenges. My friends, I want you to think about this. What did you do to conquer that challenge? And then part 3 of digging into your story, what was the outcome of that? How did you emerge from the rubble? How were you Superman who took down General Zod? Standing like this, proudly over the city that you just utterly destroyed and ruined, taking down General Zod. By the way, I hope they were insured. See the mess after that? This is what I want you to think about. The entire life cycle of your story. Start with the challenge. Dive into what you personally did. And then talk about what everything looked like after you were done. My friends, that was your hero's story. And I guarantee you, every one of you had a hero story at every one of your jobs at some point, even if it was the most mundane thing. If you were restocking coffee, you think that's not a big deal? Try having no coffee in a sales bullpen. It's Mad Max. If you were the one restocking coffee, you were a hero. Rob knows what's up. See, think I could do this without this? Not a chance. The coffee is everything, my friend. So even if you were the person, and I don't mean that condescendingly, even if a lot of people talk that way, every single job is important. Every single person is important. If you were the one restocking coffee, that was everything, everything. So think about what you did at your job. That was everything. Now, here's another way to really immerse in this story, because this story is what's going to put you over that finish line of the interview. I promise you, I've seen it 1,000 times as a recruiter and a hiring manager. That is the differentiator. Okay, how do you dig into it? Think back to the time. What year was it? What did you like to wear at the time? What did you like to eat at the time? Who were you hanging out with at the time? What was going on in your life? What was happening in the world? How do you immerse yourself in that story? Because it's one thing to tell a story about 2011 here in 2023. It's another thing to live inside of 2011 while you're telling that story. So now I want you to recreate the scene of that story. One thing I used to do as a comedian all the time, when I would tell a story on stage about something that happened to me, I would recreate it in my mind. Before I'd walk up on stage, I would play music that reminded me of that era. I'd wear clothes that reminded me of that era. Of course, I was bursting out of them at the time. That wasn't great. But I used to think, okay, what can actually recreate this? So one thing I used to do before going up on stage or before going into an interview was to play a little bit of music that reminded me of that time. So I'm like, all right, interview time, let's do it. Swagger, do your thing. So I used to play some music here, reminding me, okay, I was a great dancer in 1977 Brooklyn. No, I wasn't. No, stop, quiet. No, that was definitely not it. But think about a sound, think about a song. It is an awesome song, Sandra, right? It's a great song. Think about some music that reminds you of that story. So if that story happened, I don't care how far back it goes, my friends. I don't care if it goes back to 1991 and you've got to play some Jump from Crisscross. If that's the song it takes to put you in that mindset, find that song, dig into that song, play that song. As you have your resume in front of you on that screen, go to YouTube and play the song that was prevalent in your life in that era. And as you're listening to that song, close your eyes and actually recreate your hero's story. Recreate interviewing for that job. Recreate your first day on the job when there was no coffee and there was a riot. Recreate the first time you met your friend at work. Recreate all of it. Live inside that moment. And that's when I want you to start retelling the story to yourself. So you have the music playing, bobbing along. All right, so remember that. Yeah, first day. 2007, the traffic was hell. I turned around and I quit. Okay, don't tell that story. Here's another one. All right, here we go. First day, 2008. Much better commute. Remember, I got in there, my boss said, we need to create 58 new chapters by the end of the year. And this is why we hired you to do it. And then as the song is going through your mind, I'd love for you to dig into what you did. What you did, what your process looked like. How challenging was it? What you did every step of the way. Next thing you know, you're living inside that story. It's real to you again. It's not something on a resume. It is a living, breathing thing. Now, let me ask you this and put it in the chat. What in your mind, if somebody were to tell a story to you, so if you're interviewing somebody for a job, on a date, you're talking to your in-laws, that's always an interview. I don't care how long you've been married, that is always an interview. Anytime you're having that conversation, what is the piece of information that will make the story great to you? Let's not talk theoretically anymore. Pop it in the chat. What are you looking for to move the needle for you from somebody else? You're saying, I would love to hear your story. What is great? Honesty, results. Okay. How's this info going to help me? Results. Passion. Nick knows what's up. Emotion, excitement. Passion. How can I help? Engagement. Details. Okay. Let's get in the nitty gritty. Enthusiasm. Integrity. Well, I'm out. I can't help you with that. Sorry. Overcoming adversities. It's a great one, Joel. Authenticity. Above and beyond. Competency. Humility. We have all these elements of a great story here. You're noticing a theme. Intelligence, perseverance, problem solving. We are looking for all the best qualities in somebody else that we hope to achieve ourselves. That's what it comes down to. We want to hear somebody tell us, not only am I good at this, not only am I competent at this. Again, 5 people are at the same point in the race as you. They all have competency. They're all good. But what makes you great? It's all these things. It's all of them. That's what it comes down to, right? That's what it does. Little humor thrown in. Be irreverent. Be irreverent. We're on this rock for a blink. Have some fun with it. Just have some fun with it at the end of the day. Caring. Now, Sandra said something really, 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 really critical. And that's the one I want to hit. Sandra, boom, nailed it. Caring. Caring. So we talk about a hero story, right? What is the essence of a true hero story? What is the essence of a true hero? It's the simple phrase, and it's something that came to me as, you can even call it a divine download over the past couple of weeks, and it's been in the back of my mind over and over again, and in a lot of ways, it's become kind of a new ethos, if you will. 2 simple statements said back to back that have all the meaning in the world. The first is, I see you. The second is, I got you. I see you. I got you. Let's flesh this out. What does this mean in the context of interviewing? What does this mean in the context of the hero's story and the hero's journey? A lot of times, interviewers don't feel seen. They know why you're there. You're there for a job. It's transactional. But they are in need of a hero. May not realize it, they may not say it, but they are in need of a hero. The reason they're interviewing you is because they have a problem in their company. If it's HR, they have a role they have to fill. They have a quota they have to fill. They do. They can't fill this job, falls on their head. Doesn't look good for them. It's not going to be a pleasant year. They may not get their bonus. Kid may not get the gift at the end of the year. And if that doesn't happen, look out. They are looking for a hero. You can be their hero by stepping up and being that candidate. If it's a hiring manager within a company and they're looking to fill a role on their team, they're looking for a hero. They need you to step up and make their lives easier and make their lives better. That's what heroism is. It is making somebody's lives easier and better in ways big and small. But in a lot of these interactions, we don't see them. We don't see them. We see what we need from them. We see, okay, you're a person who has the opportunity to give me a job that will give me a paycheck. It's not seeing somebody. You see this transactions all the time. You see it constantly. People, they look at you and think, what can you do for me? But not, what do I need? So when you step into that room, you step into that Zoom, ask yourself, what does this interviewer need? And how can I see them as a human being who needs something right now? And I can be the person to deliver it. Suddenly, it goes from a transactional standpoint to a heart-centered standpoint. So you come from that heart-centered standpoint, guess what? That hero story is going to flow out of you like the River Jordan, which is actually a terrible analogy because that's drying up. Okay, so the River Mississippi, that's a good one. There we go. So the River Mississippi, actually, it doesn't sound good at all, does it? Now we're gonna scrap the river things. It's not happening. We're not doing rivers this morning. We're not doing it. We're going to talk about coming from a heart-centered place, my friends, because that is how you connect with them. Jorge nailed it right there. Establish rapport and connection. So I see you, interviewer. I see you. I know what you need. And I got you. And Rob, that's exactly it. Interview, it's appropriate to ask, what problems do you have? We know why they're hiring for the role. We saw it in the job description. Okay, we need this, and that. And guess what? I know you all redid your resumes to go alignment, which is awesome. That's how you got in there in the first place. Now we've got to take you to the next level. So how do you sell your story to them? You sell it from a place of, I got you. Simple as that. I've got you. I know you have this problem in your company. I know you have this problem in your department. I know you need somebody to come in here and whip your sales team into shape because you're not hitting your numbers. I know you need somebody to come here and clean up all of IT's processes because they're a mess right now. I know you need somebody to come in here and be a line manager because we got all the chickens running around with their heads cut off and we need someone to rustle them all up. And any other ranching analogy I can use. I'm a kid from Queens. What do I know about ranching? Sounded good though. This is what they need, right? It's what they need. So how do you energetically look your interviewer in the eye and say, I see you, I got you? It's through your story. It's through your story. Because when they describe their problem to you, hey, we need this in our company, they are subconsciously begging you to step up and say, well, I'm so glad you mentioned that because it just so happens that in my previous job, this was the situation I went through. I had a similar problem to this. Here was the process that I went through to fix that problem. And here was the desired outcome that we had. Here was the win that I delivered. And guess what? That's why I'm here interviewing with you today. So I can replicate what I did here and bring it here. So I can be your hero. So I can step in and solve your problem because I see you. And based on the story I just told you, now you know that I've got you too. When you think of the term, I got you, what does that mean to you? Let's see it in the chat. When you think that I got you, what does that mean? And I don't want you to even think about it. I want this to come right from your heart. When you hear somebody look at you and say, I got you, what does that mean? I understand you. I'm your safety net. I can help you. I care. I'm listening. I'm on your team. I'll be there when you need me. You can count on me. Does any of that come from a place of I'm trying to impress you? Does any of that come from a place of I'm trying to blow you away? Trying to blow your mind with how amazing I am? Because the twain don't meet, do they? I got you, and here's how amazing I am. We come into interviews from here. Here's how amazing I am. Hire me because I'm amazing. Going to dates, I'm amazing. Here's how amazing I am. We go into all these different situations in life where we're trying to impress somebody. Here's how amazing I am. But what if instead of this, we come in from right here? I got you. What if you said, you know what? I'm not even worried about trying to impress you. I'm here to make your life easier and better. Forget this. I'm playing right here. Interviewer, I am here to make your life better. I may not even get this job. That's okay. I'll get the next one and I'll make their life better too. Because guess what? What I did before, forget how impressive it was. When I was here, I made their lives better. This is the track that I'm on in my life. This is what I do. This is why I do the work that I do. Not to impress anybody, not to have a certain title, not to keep jumping around and getting raises and raises and raises, although nothing wrong with that. I mean, who doesn't want to live on a yacht in Miami? Come on, come on. The key to it is, if you are coming from this place, and folks, I know you are, because I know the kind of community here that really is cultivated by Mindy. I know you're a heart-centered group. I know you're coming from this place, each and every one of you. So come from that place, come from your heart. This is what I've done in the past. I come from a place of, I helped my colleague do this. I helped my boss do this. I helped my company do this. It was more than just a job. Something I did, which I could wake up every morning and look myself in the mirror and say, you're doing all right. You're right where you got to be. So now take that same energy with you. Don't worry about blowing them away with the cinematic impression of this whole big hero story. Talk about the real hero story. This is the place where I'm living right now. And this is what I did. And this is how I did it. This is what happened. And this is why I would love to do it for you. Because that is what matters to me. That is the essence of my professional and personal life, is to live according to that code. Some of us don't always live that way. Some of us, it takes a long time to get that way, but it's who we all are underneath all the stories and all the layers. And then the next question, the idea of I see you. I see you. What does that mean to you when you hear the words, I see you? Good question from Jill. What if the company didn't value what you did? That's the company's problem, honestly. That's not yours. You can say, well, of course it's mine. They fired me on a paycheck. Fair retort. But a lot of times that's out of your hands. People appreciated you, even if the company didn't. I guarantee you, you did the right thing by an organization. There were people in your company who appreciated you. Guarantee you that. There were absolutely, and to this day still appreciate you. Always. That's what matters. And because the energy you took to that is still with you, you know, can either be created nor destroyed. Is that metaphysical stuff again? We'll talk about that later. It's fine. My friends, this is the key that is going to put you over the finish line. If somebody looks at you and says, if I hire you, I know it's more than just a job to you. Because the energy I'm picking up from your story is not just of, look at my accomplishment. It is look at my accomplishment and look at the place that comes from. They're going to know that you are coming to this job with that same intention. And Lisa's absolutely right. You can't control how they react. You can control you. So Nick, I love that. I see you. I understand you. I understand how I can help you. How many, now, and be honest with you. And be honest with you, be honest with me, be honest with all of us. Let's just be honest together, right? First time in our lives, let's just be completely honest. How many times have you walked into an interview with the thought of, I am coming in here to make this interviewer's life easier and better today? Don't be shy. You can, yeah, okay, yeah, guilty. It's all right. Nope, never. I'm waiting for one. We're not going to get one. And oh, we did. No, okay, we got one. We got Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the Mother Teresa of the group. I fall on the sword. I have nothing left to add. We're I'm kidding. We have a couple. We have a couple. And you know, that's okay, because we come into these transactionally, right? We were never taught this in school. We were never taught go in and make the interviewer's life better. This is the gatekeeper. What are we worrying about making their life? They got to make our life better. You know, we got bills to pay here. What are we talking about making their life better? They're holding all the cards, making their lives better. And yet, how many other people that you're up against for this interview are, how many of them do you think are going in like this? How many of your competitors for this job that also got an interview are going in with the mentality of, I see you, I got you, to that interviewer? and are going to tell all their fancy stories with that intention, with being the interviewer's hero versus trying to impress them to get the job. Talk about a differentiator. That is everything. This is a lesson that I learned of all places as a comedian. You learn a lot as a comedian. First of all, you learn that masochism is quite a drug. It really is. It's an experience. The idea of getting up on stage to have a whole room full of people that you don't know and judge every single word you're saying for free in the beginning, might I add, is a very special experience. But one thing you learn over time is that everybody starts up on stage with the intention of, okay, I'm going to make you laugh because I'm going to impress you. It's going to stoke my own ego. Everybody starts for all the wrong reasons. Or I'm coming up on stage to tell you my life stories because this is basically the only therapy that I can afford. I'm going to work on all my issues up here. This is how we're going to roll. But what makes that truly, truly great comedians over time is something that happens beyond that. It's when they have their own moment with the audience where the comedian says, hey, you know what? I see you and I got you. And the audience feels that energy too. It's, I see you, people in the front, people in the back, people all over. You've had a long day. You have tough lives. I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your body language. You're coming here for a laugh. We're not here to glorify my ego. We're not here so I can feel great about myself. We're here to give you a break from life. So you can come here and just laugh tonight and just take it easy. You'll go, your problems will be waiting for you. Your gout not going anywhere. But while you're here, you can take a break from life and I can help you do that because I see you. And hey, guess what? I got you. I'm going to be the one to deliver those jokes for you. I'm going to help you laugh through whatever problems you have in life tonight. You're having relationship trouble. I'm going to tell all kinds of relationship jokes. You can work out that angst and energy through this humor. This is your conduit. Just get out of here. RDSR would be a great t-shirt. It's actually the title of my new book coming up. So, and every one of you here, reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. You will all get a complimentary signed copy, every single one of you. So hit me up afterwards. And that's not a promotion. That's why it's complimentary. We're not promoting anything here. It is literally complimentary. But the key to connecting are just those words. I see you and I got you. And that can happen in any facet of life. It is the great differentiator. So if you go into an interview with that energy, I promise you they're going to feel that. So phone a friend, get back into your own resume, find that story, play the song that reminds you of that time, immerse in that story, tell it over and over and over again. And then when you get that moment with your interviewer, ask those questions. What can I do to help you? What can I do? What does your organization really need? What does success look like in this position? Talk about a nugget. That, my friends, is the single greatest interview question I have ever seen any of my candidates use because I always get a ton of compliments on it from all the folks that I work with afterwards. They'd always come back and say, that question blew me away because no one asked it. You want to type it out again, the little nugget. What does success look like in this position? Because that question right there is the ultimate in, I see you. I am trying to really understand what you're looking for here. What does a happy ending look like in this role for you? What is the optimal situation? How does your life get easier by me working here? That's the question. What does success look like in this position? You will never get bad feedback on that question, no matter what stage of the interview you're in. Ask that question. What does success look like in this position? That, my friends, is the greatest way to say, I see you. And guess what? When they give you that answer, take some mental notes, because then you will know right there and then how to position your story, what to emphasize, what to accentuate in your own story. You're going for a sales job and you just ask straight up, what does success look like in this position? And they'll tell you, okay, success looks like blowing quota out of the way by 50%. That's what we need. 50% above quota from your sales team. That's what success would look like. That's what make my life easier. That's what would get our company revenue where it needs to be. That's what success looked like. Okay, fantastic. Let me tell you about a time I got us to 70%. But not only technically how I got there, let me tell you about what it meant for our company. Let me tell you about what it meant for my boss. Let me tell you about what it meant for my team, lifestyle-wise. Let's talk about how our company was able to reinvest in our people, in training, in upgraded facilities, because we hit that. So we're not just talking nuts and bolts over here. We're talking heart-centered stuff. This is how our lives got better because we did that. How do we always play in that place? So if there's one thing I want you to take away, if there's a lot of nuggets, but if there's one thing I would love for you all to walk out of here with today, or stand up with out of here, Zoom always screws me up. It's a simple notion of how can I make the life better of the person who's interviewing me, and mean that genuinely, not just as an interview tactic, but genuinely. I promise you, if you come into the interview with that energy, they will feel that. They will detect that. It will matter. That will be your differentiator. Because I can promise you, very, very few other people are coming in with that same intention. How do I make your life easier? How do I make your life better? How do you say to that interviewer, I see you and I got you. I'm going to open it up now to questions, thoughts, nuggets, rants, insults. I'm a comedian, I can handle it.
Hey, Geoff, that was amazing. Let's see if we can get my picture here. So great. Thank you so much for sharing those great words of wisdom. I'm curious if anyone on the call has an example of what you're describing. And if you do, just kind of raise your hand so we can call on you. If anyone wants to share that. Oh, I like this. Great first impression from me, Mindy, Geoff, in the community. That's beautiful. From RDSR, beautiful. Anybody want to share a story where they were successful in using this heart-centered approach? I don't think we often focus on the heart-centered approach. I need to get to a different view. Hold on a second. So Jill is there. Is it Jill? Her face just moved by too quickly. It was Jill. A question like, don't we need recent accomplishments? So you want to address that, Geoff?
Yeah, that's a great question. Recent accomplishments are great. So even if you don't have to go back to 1977 in Brooklyn to think about a great song and a great time, think about something that happened in 2019, or even better, 2020. You were working in 2020. What better backdrop of adversity to talk about than that? When the entire world is melting down, when everybody is absolutely at their wits' end, when people are stressed, when people are fearful, how are you able to step up in 2020? You don't have to invent a challenge for that. You had one. We all had one. Cindy worked at a vaccination clinic. Can't imagine you had any challenges with that at all. That must have been a peachy time in 2021. So Cindy, you have a treasure trove to work with right there. That's it, Paul. How you coped and adapted when COVID struck. Forget 1977, forget 2015, forget 2019. Jorge, COVID-19 contact tracing, 1,500 people. Forget about it. Are you kidding me? That is ready-made for you right there. Every single one of you has a 2020 story. Every one of you does. You were all there. You all lived it. It happened. I know, like to pretend it didn't. It happened.
I love this. Someone just said, Mike just said that he has an interview coming up today. He has to do some revisions on his script.
Fantastic.
Well, good. I hope that we've inspired you, Mike, for sure. And have to let us know how it turns out. I think you'll be doing amazing. I think I saw a hand. I think I saw Jude's hand up. Jude, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I actually did. Geoff, I just want to say thank you. This has just been fabulous. And it's so important for people to take the time to think and get into wherever they were, whenever they did that wonderful thing for their employer. And I know it takes some time to do that. And, you know, when we're in job search, sometimes we think, oh my God, I don't have time. I just have to get out there and get a job. But this is so important to do, because once these stories, we have these stories, we build our confidence, and then we're excited about the job search, and we're excited to meet that interviewer, as opposed to, oh my God, I'm desperate, I need a job, please hire me. So Mindy, I just want to give a really simple example, because as Geoff also said, you know, it can be something really small too. I was working at a nonprofit organization helping people find jobs, and we had to have all of our participants sign in every day, and we had to keep these records for audits in case we were ever audited. And people would often sign on the wrong page. This was something really simple, but you know, it was kind of a pain in the butt. Because we had to then take notes, make notes that, you know, this client actually came in on such and such a day. And so I thought about it, and I thought, well, geez, I'm just going to create a poster and put it in the sign-in book so that people can only sign in on one side of the page. And then I'll also be advertising some of our upcoming workshops and services that we have at our nonprofit center. Lo and behold, something simple like that eliminated the problem. So it made our auditing process a lot easier. We didn't have to correct any errors from clients, and we didn't have to, you know, constantly be on the watch, telling our clients, oh no, could you please sign on this side of the page? So it doesn't have to be, you know, I increased sales by 50% in the third quarter. It can be something really simple, because audits, companies go through audits, and if you can make that auditing process simpler, then that's a win for the company. So I just wanted to put that out there, because sometimes we think that it's got to be something, you know, incredible. It doesn't have to be.
Jude, I'm going to thank you for that example. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to think of some time in your career when you have been a hero, when you made some change, when you changed something about whatever the process was that changed the lives of other people. And that is, I think, the essence of what Geoff is getting at. Having these stories, I've been saying this for years and years, you've got to have these stories in your hip pocket, because you've got to know what makes you different than other people. What differentiates you from all the other people who are interviewing for the same job? So just amazing. Before Jorge, I see your hands raised. I'm going to get to Jorge in a moment. I just want to mention, I see a lot of people have registered for the interview bootcamp. If you're not connected to me yet, please connect with me so I can communicate with you about what the details are of that. So please connect with me. So, and I see a couple that are not connected with me yet. So connect with me on LinkedIn so that we can have a good dialogue, okay? Okay, Jorge, you had your hand raised, and then we'll get to Cheryl, and then we need to shut it down. So go ahead, Jorge, what's your question or comment?
Yes, good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks for everything, Mindy and Geoff. It was great content, great information. I really appreciate you sharing all this information. And I just want to give some recommendations. I've done a lot of interviewing during my professional life, and I've noticed that a lot of people just come in and just want to do the interview right off the bat. I strongly recommend that you connect with your interviewer. Say hi, ask them how their day is going. Connect with them, right? Break the ice with them before you start doing the actual interview. It goes a very long way, and it makes your interviewer feel valued, right? And it shows that you have the people skills to contribute to the organization, right? Wrap it up with saying thank you and wishing them the best, right? It goes a very long way.
I like that, Jorge. And from the heart, right, Jorge?
Yep,
Not
from the
just
heart.
as a matter of rote.
Correct.
Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
From the heart, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Great meeting all you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Jorge. And I want to wish good luck. I have at least 2 people who have interviews today. So good luck to you guys. I hope that you do well. And please connect with us and let us know how those interviews are going. Beautiful. Rob and Mike both have interviews today. Amazing. Excellent. Cheryl, did you have a question or a comment?
I'll start with a comment. Fantastic presentation. Great, great information. I have used that before. I remember I interviewed somewhere and, you know, when the guy was interviewing me, he said, wow, you could be my boss. And I said, hold on, I'm coming back to work after an illness. I don't want your job. I just want to work. So I got the job. But then it came into, he literally took my ideas and then ended my contract early. Okay. So I know there are people like that in the world. But then most recently, I also interviewed for a position. Again, I am doing a little bit of a pivot in my career. And the feedback that I've gotten from other people is it sounds like this person was intimidated by me. Wasn't trying to be intimidating. I was just trying to say, hey, I would be an add to the team. I'm in an add to the team in a different area. And she's like, well, I don't even know why we would need my technical background is HR. I don't even know why we would need an HR person on the team. So how do you respond when somebody, when they are coming into the interview with something going on in their mind? How do I combat that?
Geoff, you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, great question, Cheryl. And I would say stay as centered within you as possible. Because at the end of the day, only you can control you. And I know that sounds very trite and cliche, but it is 100% true. If we get caught up in kind of their drama and their dispositions and things like that, it's going to throw us off. And we're going to be like a dog chasing our own tail, trying to constantly stay one step ahead and all that. Know who you are, know what you've done, come in with good intentions. At the end of the day, if you have an interviewer who has bad intentions, if you have somebody you're picking up bad juju with, I know you need the job, but ask yourself, is this who I want to work for? Is who I want to work with? Is this the kind of company I want to be a part of? So I would say don't chase too much. Don't chase in order to make them happy. Don't chase too much in order to feel like you have to say what they are looking for, because at the end of the day, if you're getting too outside of who you are, what you stand for, what you've done, what your value system is, the worst thing that can happen is you get hired at that place. And we're going to be looking at a horrendous mismatch. You'll be out of there within 6 months anyway, and right back to the drawing board. So always do you.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Cheryl, I think we've spoken about this. I believe that there are people in this world that will get you, and there are people in this world that will not get you. So I get Geoff, and Geoff gets me. And so that's why we connected, and we're good together, because I get it, right? Not everyone gets me, and not everyone gets Geoff. All right. And I bet not everyone will get you either, Cheryl. You need to find the people who will get you so that they actually get you, right? You have to know what your value is. You have to know what you're providing, and it may not be the right fit, right? That's really important. Caleb just said it. Hey, Caleb, how are you? Nice seeing you. Fit isn't really important. Again, if you don't want to be job hopping all the time, then you got to find a great fit. Yeah, Sandra, another nugget. Fit is important, 100%. Does that answer your question, Cheryl?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. The only thing I'll say is, you know, overall, the company might be great, but then there's that one person on that one team, and that's the team you're interviewing with. And I've just run into that situation a lot. And it's like, what the heck? I'm not competing with you. But I won't take this offline, but I just wanted to hear your points. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Can we squeeze in one more? I know we're a little bit over time, but Laura has her hand raised. Laura, how can we help you today?
Oh, I was just thinking about what Cheryl was saying, if I can just add on to that. You know, one thing would be just to, I guess, kind of start off with what are your biggest obstacles and how can I help remove them, would be another way to say essentially what Geoff said, but in a little bit more specific way. And then pull on your experience and use, you know, what you bring to the table to answer that question for them once they tell you what their obstacles are. But I totally get you. I've got myself wrapped up in knots when people are, you know, interviewers have asked me, you know, I'm looking for this specific knowledge that Laura, I don't have. And, you know, after the interview, you think about, oh, you know, damn it, I don't have that. And should I have said this or should I have said that? And it can definitely be challenging. So I'm sympathizing as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laura. All right, so this has been an amazing session. Geoff, I cannot thank you enough. Didn't know what to anticipate today, but it was beyond my expectations. I think you got to the heart of the matter, right? The heart. We are all human beings first before we are whatever else we are after our names, right? We're all human beings first. Being kind, caring, and showing that to your interviewer is super important. You're looking for a differentiator. You are not the same as everyone else. You are unique and you have unique value to bring. And that's what you need to focus on. Again, Geoff, thank you so much for taking time. Everyone, Geoff is on the road from Florida back home, and he stopped in his hotel room to do this for us because he was so sick. So thank you so much. You sounded great. And I wish you all the best week ever. 2023 is going to be an amazing year. If you're interested in interview bootcamp, let me know and we'll make it happen for sure. Thank you, everyone. See you next month for sure. February 1st, first day of February, we're kicking off with Come On In, the LinkedIn water is fine. Take care, everyone. Have a great afternoon. And good luck to those interviews today. Good luck.
Well wishes. Good luck, everybody. And please connect with me on LinkedIn. Love to stay in touch with all of you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Good
Gotta go
night.
put on the
Thanks, Geoff.
Superman costume.
Do it.
Yes.
Thank you.